album cover seems a bit whitish, so let's just stick with the classic. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Just JP. My name is Justin, and today we are listening to the song Signal to Noise by Peter Gabriel. This is a viewer's request from Gabriel Morewa? No, that's not in Japanese. I'm so sorry, Gabriel. Gabriel Morewa. Morera. I'm gonna go with Morera. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Very sorry. Gabriel, thank you so much for the recommendation. I know that you've mentioned this song several times in different videos, so I got you. Don't worry about it. And of course, for anyone else recommending songs, I pay a lot more attention if you kind of recommend me the same song or at least the same band over and over, because then it kind of sticks with me. Random things work, but I typically pay more attention to, you know, same song and same band. That way it kind of sticks in my head. Signal to Noise is from Peter Gabriel's 7th studio album. This was released in 2002. So in doing this song, we're taking quite a leap from the last time that we had listened to Peter Gabriel on the channel until now with this song. The last song that we had listened to on this album was from 1982 with Security, and then now Up 2002. So that's about 20 years difference from where we heard him before and where we're about to hear him now. I'm very curious to see what evolved in his music, what changed. Are those world influences still there? What is he experimenting with now? I have no idea. We're going to find out in just a second. And before we get into the song, what was your latest musical discovery? What was the last band, album, or song that you listened to that you were just like, wow, that's really awesome. I really enjoyed that. Or at least something that piqued your interest. What was the last one that you can think of? Most of mine actually come from this channel, so I still have The Cure and I still have Genesis. But on my own, I'm working through listening to Nick Cave's latest album. I believe it's called Ghosteen. I'm re-listening and rediscovering DJ Crush's last album, Cosmic Yard. Listening to a lot of like acoustic and folk music. I actually really like that genre. So just looking at my list real quick, artists and bands like Daughter, Joy Williams, Joanne Baez. I accidentally pressed the wrong button. That song's on my playlist too. Of course, you can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on the song, so leave your comments below and what you thought of it. And let's get into it. This is Signal to Noise by Peter Gabriel. Wrong button. This is Signal to Noise by Peter Gabriel.
You know the way that things go when what you fight for starts to fall. And in that fuzzy picture, the writing stands out on the wall so clearly on the wall. Send out the signals deep and loud. And in this place, can you reassure me with a touch, a smile, while the cradle's burning? All the while the world is turning to noise. Oh, the more that it's surrounding us, the more that it destroys. Turn up the signal, wipe out the noise. Send out the signals, deep and loud. Man, I'm losing sound and sight of all those who can tell me wrong from right. When all things beautiful and bright sink in the night. Yet there's still something in my heart that can find a way to make a start, to turn on the signal, wipe out the noise. Wipe out the noise. Wipe out the noise.
You know, say what you will about Peter Gabriel's music, but I think it's safe to say that we can all agree that his music is very, very captivating. It's really interesting to listen to, regardless of if you like it or not. Before you even get to that point, it's the type of music that grabs you, and it grabs you like deeply. And it really takes you to another place. It really transports you to another world, to his world that he's created with his music. And I think that's one thing I really enjoy about his music, and one reason that I'm actually even more now so interested in exploring more of his solo work. From the songs that we've done before, Rhythm of the Heat and San Jacinto, and here in Signal to Noise, is he makes a great use of space, dropouts, climaxes, build-ups. Like, he delivers a full cinematic experience with his music. And the song begins so lonely. The instruments, it's like a shaker and like just a little instrumentation here and there. But it's not a lot going on. It's very simple. But from halfway onwards, what it builds up into, I love the drum beat that comes in. And it's used a little bit in the beginning. You get the deep bass, that nice resounding sound, kicking in every once in a while, keeping a steady beat, and you expect it. And it sounds great. I like that bass tone with emptiness, with empty sound. It because the bass is allowed to breathe. You know, so for example, in a lot of modern music, like let's just take for example modern hip hop, trap rap, whatever, 808s. That's typically the big subwoofer sound, the big bass, but they use a lot of that. So sometimes it's not spaced so well. Here, it's spaced well so that resounding sound, that resonance from the bass itself, is allowed to expand and breathe and push out and fill in this space. So Peter uses that here perfectly. And just a little bit of strings, nothing big, but I like how he builds it up from here. There's the bass, I had it low right now, but I just really like the way that he builds this up. And those vocalizations that I was about to go into, I have the lyrics here, and it looks like those vocalizations, because I don't know what else I could really call them, were from, I might mispronounce this, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. And what's interesting, it says that he had apparently died, this singer, Nusrat, he had apparently died before he could actually record his parts for the song. So they took some vocals from live performances and put them in here. So that's what you're actually hearing in those sections there. I think that's a very interesting way to do that, because there are a lot of albums, artists that, you know, they have someone lined up to do something to perform, and then that person dies or they pass away or something happens and they can't do that. And it does take a certain amount of creativity and also respect to still be able to bring that person into your music and use it in a way that's appropriate and doesn't damage or defame that person, hurt their name or their music in any sort of way, because you do have to pay respect to them. Just like Dolores from the Cranberries, I've mentioned it before, on their last album they hadn't quite finished everything, so they did have some unused demos and they had to use that to finish their album. Now, if those demos weren't up to snuff, would it have felt right to use them? Probably not, out of respect for her. So in the same way here, they use it in a way, they use Nusrat's vocals in a way that still pays respects to him as a person, as an artist, and as a musician. And I think those sound really interesting. In listening to this song, and from what I know of Peter Gabriel, it still sounds like he's influenced by world music. So here it seems like he's influenced by more Middle Eastern sounds, especially with those vocalizations. But I think he makes it very enjoyable. I think it's pretty accessible because of the strong strings that he's backed up by, and because of his vocalization and his performance singing. The beat that it gets into is just really cool. And the way the strings back it up, and the way that the vocals kind of just swirl around it, it creates this tension in the music. It creates this build-up that is at one point released in the music, and I think that's the cool thing about it. There's a sort of suspense that Peter builds up with the music here, and you get a payoff at the end. And it's not a bad suspense. It's like a release. You need to release. when listening to this music, and I really like that. And I do use this word sometimes, but when I listen to music like this, I have to use the word cinematic. It feels like you're watching some sort of story being played out. Even if there weren't lyrics to go along with it, you could still visualize a story being played out. Something happening. I don't know what you guys see, but there's a definite story behind the music itself. And so getting into the lyrics and the title of the song, Signal to Noise. So when I think signal to noise, I think like a radio signal that's being sent out, and then maybe the further it gets out, the more it loses the signal itself, so it becomes noise. So it starts off good and then kind of doesn't. It kind of distorts itself. In the singing, Peter Gabriel starts, "You know the way that things go when what you fight for starts to fall. And in that fuzzy picture, the writing stands on the wall, so clearly on the wall." Sounds like kind of what I was saying. Like it starts off at a certain point, but then it starts to fall. It's a fuzzy picture. The signal's getting lost. And in this place, can you reassure me with a touch, a smile, while the cradle's burning? All the while the world is turning to noise. Oh, the more that it's surrounding us, the more that it destroys. Turn up the signal, wipe out the noise. As individuals, as groups of people, as humans in general, we have a message, we have a voice, and it's always trying to speak positively. There's certain things that we know need to happen in the world that, war needs to stop. Politics needs to do this. Environment needs to do this. There's certain things we know need to happen. That's the signal, what we're crying for. But it kind of gets distorted and washed away into noise by other things that may come in, whether that's from governments or whether that's from the pressures of day-to-day life. Like, for example, most of us, if not all of us, have jobs that we need to do, that we need to go to support our family, to support ourselves. So maybe we get so caught up in all of that that we kind of forget about the original thing that we need to really focus on, whether that could be saving the planet or whatever it may be. And then Gabriel also says, "Man, I'm losing sound and sight of all those who can tell me wrong from right. When all things beautiful and bright sink in the night, yet there's still something in my heart that can find a way to make a start, to turn up the signal, wipe out the noise." So maybe I'm just being too optimistic, but he knows in his heart what he needs to do, what he needs to say. And sometimes all those other things, you just need to put it aside, focus on what you need to focus on to better your life, better the lives of those around you, better the world. In finality, to turn up the signal and wipe out the noise. So that's kind of what I get from it. I think this is a great song. I would listen to this. This is a nice, I don't know, this is just a nice song to listen to. I don't know what else to really say about it. But of course, I want to know your thoughts on the songs. And for you guys that know Peter Gabriel more than I do, which is, all of you, is this album considered a good one from him? Where does this song rank for you guys? What happened in the 20 years between Peter Gabriel 4 and this album Up? Just very curious. Did anything change for him? I don't know. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. You can also join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. I'm down there. And I hope you guys are having a great day, great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.